All right, so it's a pleasant evening, and of course, we are having a continuation of our master class regarding the College of Veterinary Surgeon Nigeria. Right, I witnessed a lot of colors at the just concluded convocation, and one of the brilliant moment or the brilliant encounter I had was people, the smile in people's face, the pride in people's face. So this whole thing made it really very interesting for me. And then I think a lot of vets needs to participate in the whole thing we're trying to do. And today we are having people who have gone through this whole entire series. I've gone through the college, spent 3 years, some 4 years, some 5 years, some you don't want to know exactly how many years they've spent because we had some repeat some class. We are not going to stress that one today, but we're going to be hearing stories and experiences from people who have gone through the college, hoping that we could dish out knowledge and see what we can learn, and we could have more vets that are consultants, right? Today, I'm having a cascades of brilliant minds, of course, people that we all want to listen to. I'm going to be introducing them one. Shehu Shamshudeen, Doc. Can you say good evening to us?
Good evening. Good
All right,
evening.
good to
I
have
thought
you.
you would start from in order of seniority. You should have started from Dr. Clement, I guess.
All right,
And
so
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Jalo. Good evening, everyone.
No.
so that's Dr. Shehu Shamsuddin, Dr. Jalo. Dr. Jalo Mohammed,
Yeah,
can you say good evening to us?
yeah. Good evening, and nice to be in your midst. And I wish us a fruitful deliberation and experience sharing.
All
Thank you.
right, that's Dr. Jalo. Dr. Clement Meseko, that's from the NVRI Study Center.
Good evening, dear colleagues. How are you?
Hey, well, all right, so good evening. So I'm going to be also be bringing up Dr. Fadipe. Dr. Fadipe, are you still in the office?
No, I'm not in the office now. I had to run home.
Okay. So nice of you. All right. So I think we should just start with what we have today. Let's start with Dr. Clement Meseko. What has been your experience?
Yeah, just like Dr. Samsudin noted, I think I will be one of the people that stayed longest on the program. I actually started the first phase about 2012, but that one is not on record. And then there was an interruption. I had to restart again in 2014, and 2014 to 2021, that's about 7 years down the line. And one interesting thing also is that even midway when I started the second time, I had a pause to break. And so the interesting aspect of this program really is the flexibility. Because when I had a break, the option would be to discontinue. But when I consulted with the college secretary and the faculty officers, they said I can take a break and pursue careers in other areas and then can return back to start the course. So I really enjoyed that flexibility. So that was why I was able to start, took a break, return again, and was able to finish the program. So I really enjoyed the flexibility. The one important aspect of the program really is that, apart from that, one is been working. For me, I'm a virologist by training. I have a couple of degrees in virology. And then when I started this program under the pathology faculty and with specialization in microbiology, really observed the broadness of the program with respect to giving me a wider scope, perspective beyond what I was given or what I did for a PhD. And so it's good to be a specialist, but sometimes also you need to expand your scope to have some other broader areas of knowledge. That was exactly what the college afforded me. But more important than that is actually the skill. Maybe for me, okay, the skill is quite important. I already have a couple of skills. But for other persons who are not into research like I think the skill the course provided, the skill that the program enable, it's quite critical. So that one thing is to know. Another thing also is to be able to do. So I think the course actually provided that avenue to know and to be able to do. And at the end of the day, you are in a position to solve problems. You know, you have those particularly maybe people who are in the pathology faculty, they are able to encounter problems that training will also empower them to be able to solve on the field. So that was a very great part of the experience for me, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, so I think that's really very good to note. Let me go to Dr. Jalo. Yeah, Dr. Jalo, you you work in the government sector, and of course, government people are
Yes.
about the richest people nowadays. So why you you're making a lot of money? So why do you want to?
No.
Why did you go through the stress of having to join the college and expose yourself to very tough examiners? Why? What motivated you?
Yeah. Actually, there are a lot of factors, but to put a record, Yobe State is among the state that has the highest number of veterinarians in the public service. That's per state. In terms of number, we're the highest in the state payroll. So the government are always looking, forward to see if there are a lot of things that you can able to, enhance your capacity, strengthen your, expertise, and of course, going forward for, looking for novel things. Government are always in support. The reason why I say this is that apart from, as a fresh graduate, like as a veterinarian, when you're admitted into college of veterinary medicine from 100 level to graduation, the government gives usually automatic employment at GL6. And when you graduate that's as a vet, you already, given level 12 directly. So when we apply for this college, we're the first fellows in the states.
Oh, nice.
About five of us, we wrote to the government around 2017, 2018. The governments give us a full scholarship to study the fellowship program from year 1, year 2, up to graduation.
That's
So the reason why I'm saying this is that apart from we are the highest number in the terms of veterinarians in the state. We are the state that has the highest livestock in the country. So agric and other, veterinary entrepreneurship is one of the key and sensitive aspects that governments are looking forward and explore opportunities to assist and, to enhance the productivity. So the reason why I'm saying this is that the support we have from the government usually motivated us to be the first set of fellows in the state, and the governor also gave us a full assurance that anything in this regard, to the best of his capability, to support the Yobe and Yobians, he's ready to do it. And another important aspects is that now Yobe is one of the states that were hit by this Boko Haram crisis. So we're in the early recovery, and this early recovery concept is about the construction, reintegration, and rehabilitation. Majority of these NGOs are moving their energy towards, agric revitalization. When you say agric, it can be in both, aspect, whether crop or animal. Like I say, sometimes back when FAO came into the state to support farmers in agri empowerment program, and there are women in agriculture, poultry against poverty, we are fully engaged. All the area veterinary officers in the states were fully engaged to support, with professional advice and what have you. So now we because of the support of the government, and the government has the listening ears to us, we have the support like and all the other fellows like Dr. Mustafa Gaidam currently is the permanent secretary, Minister of Transport, is the veterinarian. The current GM, Ayobe Modern Abatua, Dr. Amis Solwa, is also among the first sets. Dr. Yusuf Ilyasu, also the state coordinator in the part, is among the first set. And Dr. Idris Madaki, the program manager, pilot livestock development program, is also among the first sets. And of course, my humble self, which we are working in the emergency sector. So what really brought to the idea is that the kind of experience, the kind of connection that we had, like in our class, abuse area study center and public health, we had like 5 to 6 professors. As I'm speaking to you now, one of them asked me to come and start PhD under his supervision.
Wow.
Because because we met during the program. So actually, this is something that I will never forget in my life. Although I have a lot of experience in public health, like the antibiotic resistance, outbreak management, and investigation, especially in Southeast Asia, where I did my master's in Malaysia, 2015. So I have a lot of experience in the Southeast Asia. Now I'm coming back to Nigeria. We try to see how we can able to contribute our own quota in supporting and bringing new ideas in the public health aspect of the veterinary profession.
I think
that's
this is
basically
this is impressive, really. And one of the aim of this masterclass is to bring up thoughts like this, because any government that is interested in the development of its people and in the capacity building of its people, right, to deliver to the agri value chain or even any other sector, I think it's a government we need to commend. And to even now know that you were fully sponsored, I think that will also serve like a very good incentive for other vets to write their government. The more you know, the more improve your skills are, the better you are able to deliver on the result. All right, let me bring up, I'm still coming back to you just a moment. Let me bring up Dr. Shehu Shamshudeen. All right, so again, I really don't know what you're looking for having fellows of College of Veterinary Surgeon, because I know you're one vet that people think you're very intelligent, right? You're getting big projects. You're on a very progressive path, and I know you have a lot on your table. FAO is there. That congratulations anyway on that, and you're a progressive private vet. Why? Why did you subject yourself to that 3 years? How many years did you even spend? 3 or 5 years?
3 years.
Oh, 3 years. So why did you subject yourself to another 3 years of improving your skills?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Femi, and good evening, everyone. So, on a lighter note, unlike Dr. Jalo, that was fully sponsored 100%, I actually self-sponsored myself, and that's to tell you that this was actually a deliberate action, something I've always, looked forward to. Growing up as a young veterinarian, I've always wanted to reach the highest, point in my career, in terms of professionalism and not necessarily the academic part. So I fell in love with the fellowship because for me, I saw it as an opportunity to broaden my scope, to also interact with other, have this cross-sectional interaction, because I knew definitely that I'll be meeting people from academia, people from government, people from private sector, and people from development. So I've always seen myself as a facilitator, a connector. Like, I believe that it's when we're able to see ideas, to see problems from different perspectives, and then we come together and bring up an holistic solution, that is when we'll be able to have something more sustainable. So right from when I graduated in 28 as a DVM, I had my master's, of course, finished in 2015. And so I knew that the next thing for me would be to become a consultant in veterinary medicine. I mean, consultants, especially in the area where I've been working. Most of my work as a private vet and as a vet who consults for NGOs and international organizations, most of my work had always been around preventive medicine. Of course, that was why I chose preventive medicine as my specialty. Um, One interesting thing that I think that for me it's the ultimate takeaway is the fact that the kind of relationship I built during the fellowship. Dr. Jalo has mentioned it. If you come to our class is like, will I say, the most diverse kind of set of people that you ever meet. We have people from military, we have people from paramilitary, from academics, from mainstream governments, and then of course I was the only private sector guy, you know.
You can
So
imagine.
it kind of was very is interesting mix. And when we discuss issues in class and even online, because we have a very active online platform where we interact, it breeds a lot of interesting conversation, and then we're able to come up with a lot of solutions. So by and large, I chose to follow this path because first of all, I was not thinking of becoming a professor, and so I wanted a professional, I mean, to get to the peak of my career, to become an authority in preventive medicine, and to also use that opportunity to learn. I was coming from the private sector perspective. I really wanted to understand how government works, how the government people think, how academics think, how researchers think, how regulators think. And for me, I think I've gotten what I actually set out to get,
Do.
from the fellowship, apart from just the title. And I must say that even the title has already fetched me some very, very, interesting engagement,
Oh,
That-
congratulations, Dr. Shehu Shamshudeen. So I'll be bringing everybody up on the screen now, and then we will make the conversation a lot more robust. So everybody's coming up on the screen now, including Dr. Fadipe.
okay.
So when we need headmaster's knowledge, we will call on Dr. Fadipe because he's the interim secretary,
Yes.
and then we also
Actually
have
the headmaster.
a headmaster.
Yes.
That's very good. All right. So first question I want us to tackle, because this is an information session, right? What determines the location? Dr. Fadipe, how many study center do we have? Five, six?
Okay, for now we have four.
Four study centers. We have MVRI
For
study
now we have
center.
four.
Yes, MVRI,
Yes.
ABU, UI,
Yes.
and UNN, right?
ABU, UI, UNM, yes.
All right. So, Dr. Jalo, let's start from Dr. Clement. What guided your decision on what study center to have? Okay, he's off. Let's ask Dr. Jalo. What guided your decision on the study center? Why didn't you do it in UNN or do it in UI or
Of course,
MVRI?
proximity.
Proximity. Dr.
Yes,
Shehu, is that the
yes.
same with you?
Of course,
Oh,
proximity and the fact that I've always loved to do something with ABU.
oh, okay.
I did masters in ABU, and I kind of like the environment. So, but proximity one was the
Oh,
first.
okay.
first.
So, all right. So, I think that's a really very clear response from all of us. Proximity. But are there people, Dr. Fadipe? Maybe I should ask you this quickly. Are there people who, outside proximity, choose another study center? Do you have students like that?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, we do have people who
No.
choose other study centers different to proximity, different from the fact that the proximity. We have had people who had to leave UNN for UI just because of the experience they feel they are going to get. So sometimes you look at the study center, you also look at possibly the experience you are going to get. Take for instance, people who are in microbiology. As today, it's only microbiology we have in NVRI. People who have gone to NVRI have attest to the fact that almost every equipment, every facility you want, is there in NVRI. So it's actually a study center that some people chose just because they know of the facilities that they will get and the experience they will get there. So, but largely 90% people chose the area they choose for their study center because of proximity. But we have some very few people who also wanted some different experience. Like Dr. Shamshudeen was saying that he had wanted to do something with ABU. I know if he had wanted to do something with UI, he would have chosen UI. Some people feel I've been to ABU, okay, let me go to UI for something different, So like Professor Wesley Nafada, if you talk about proximity, he will have gone to ABU Zaria from Abuja, but he went to UI, So some people just feel there are some things they might want to get from some campuses different from proximity. I think there are some few like that.
All right. So again, basically, you're saying, well, choose a service, a study center that is close to you, but their uniqueness, right, in these study centers that can stand a study centers out, and if those uniqueness meets your desire, because there has to be a connection between what you want and then where you get what you want, then you can of course go to some of those study centers. So I want to ask generally, Dr. Clement, was it really very difficult? First of all, did you fail any course? Did you fail any course during your years of study?
Yeah, it's, I mean, for every good thing, every nice thing, there has to be a price. So some of us were not as lucky as Dr. Jalo, who had sponsorship.
Uh,
We are, however, also lucky that we had a job. So from the resources of our work, we were able to save for our school fee. So
okay, looks like his network is slightly touchy, but let's go to Dr. Jalo while he tries to
Yeah.
get up his. Did you fail any course, Dr. Jalo? I'll be happy to laugh.
Jalo is a
I'll be
course.
so happy to laugh if you did.
No, 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 no,
You
no,
didn't
no. I
fail
said
any
no.
course, all right.
Yes.
So what in your opinion, since you didn't fail
And
any
my
course,
and my list my list grade is B.
oh, Dr.
Oh.
Jaro, see, I'm actually
Eh,
clapping for you. Well, that's
yeah.
so nice to hear. So
Yeah.
in the scale of 1 to 10, what will you think? How easy
Yes.
it is when one is so easy, 10 is hard. In the scale of 1 to 10, where will you put your experience with the course? Easy, tough,
Five.
hard?
Five. Just five.
5. All right. So it's
Yes.
not that easy. It's also not that
Is
tough.
it that? Yes.
Or you have very lenient resource persons, lecturers.
Yeah. The actually is multifactorial. Actually, I already I had my MSc in public health
Okay, all right. So
in Southeast. So that
you,
actually and I have to tell you this. My master's research work was one of the best in University of Putra, Malaysia.
nice. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
a
so
very intelligent
we
person.
had, so we had a lot of courses, like this research methodology. If you're doing a PG program in every field, one thing that people are always afraid of is the research methodology, the medical statistic, the health economics, and what have you. So I'm opportunity to be in the midst of professors with international and global reckoning there in Malaysia. They came from US for sabbatical. They came from Japan. So like Professor MS Lai, Professor Rampal, they taught us well that even when you wake up from sleep, when someone asks you a question about such method, you can just answer it within, without any, fear of contradiction or something. So that really actually it helps a lot. And of course the practical aspects. In my master's work, I did a lot of molecular, work, like the PFGE, the MLST, using the Campylobacter as a zoonotic pathogen. I use E. coli as an indicator of bacteria to look at the trend and profile of AR or MDR among these many farms and of course food chain from farm to table. So I've learned a lot of multi-locus sequence typing. I've learned a lot of this RAB, PD, post-filtered electrophoresis. So when I did the work, actually, I found it very easy and accommodating because I have a lot of experience. You cannot compare the laboratory work there in outside country and Nigeria. Everything we have did at LIP. So that actually informed my decision to join this program and actually make it more easy. And also, of course, the resource person that we had in ABU's area, like the Okolocha, Professor Jinedu, Professor Kwaga, SNA, these are the people that have, a lot of practical experience. They are result oriented. So they talk to the core. Not talking about all this like the normal literature or something theoretical narratives. This is a practical based approach and methodology. So it also helps a lot to find it very easy for me.
Okay, I think the core thing I got from your response is that, well, if you have a very strong background, and that pointed us to the fact that in the last session, Dr. Fatipe said if you have a background in public health, you can't just go to surgery, except you want to do 5 years. So if you have a very solid background in what you're studying, then one of those a funny thing happened with my younger sister years ago. I asked her 2 minus 5, and she laughed and said it's impossible, right? But again, at my level, I already know 2 minus 5 is possible. So when you have a small mind handling a big problem, then it's impossible or it's hard. But if you already have the substructure, then it becomes slightly easy. So, Dr. Shehu, you did in public health, right? On the scale of 1 to 10, how easy or how hard was it?
Yeah, I think 6.
Okay, all right.
Just like Jalo said, I think it's about you having some background, either academic or field background. It kind of makes it a bit easier to to relate with the content of the materials, and then they facilitate us on, of course, your research. I mean, your final research thesis. So it was not too difficult, not too easy. Except that because I had very, very busy schedule, I have to. In fact, sometimes I have to miss lectures, but all the way I was still. I think I also had similar result with Jalo. When you have Jalo in your class, sorry you, and you don't have much to do. Jalo is actually, I don't know, he's an accidental civil servant. He's actually an academic material. I always see him as an academic. He's a professorial material, and I'm sure one day he will go back.
We can move him down that line. We can move him down that line. All right. All right. So good. I want to talk about coping mechanism, right? Because one of the key things I hear is that these whole things are, they are time consuming. You just said that sometimes you miss your class, right? Unfortunately, people take this fellowship program at the stage where they are really very engaged. So they have a family, they have a work, there are quite a lot of things. Dr. Clement, how were you able to cope? Family, work, and then the program, and of course other things that were holding you down.
Exactly. That is. Yes, exactly. That is my experience. I happen to have taken the course, the microbiology under the pathology faculty. It's what we have in NVRI VOM, and then that happens to be where I work. And in the first instance, when I restarted before I had the break, that was about the time we also had an outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza in the country, and I was coordinating the laboratory diagnosis, and at the same time running a course like this. Wow. So on one hand, it's to be an advantage because it provided opportunities for work. On the other hand, it also was like a lot of workload because I had to be running in between laboratories and then coming to classes. And so it was really a lot of work to do. But with resilience, with perseverance and consistency and keeping your eye on the goal, one was able to cope. Because if I didn't keep my eye on the goal, maybe I probably would
You
have
have given up.
just dropped out long and now. But even while I kind of break the course and had to face some other aspects of my career, I now was able to come back. So now maybe the coping mechanism also will be that at critical points when you may become too busy or when your workload seems to be overburdened, you may now decide to have a break. And that is what I like about the flexibility of the program.
Oh, nice.
So if you can take a break so that you now resume when you are able to concentrate the more, then that gives you a lot of coping and management mechanism. And then it's also really an advantage that you do the course where you think, particularly for which of the specialization you have chosen to for yourself, you want to do it where you know you will learn the most. So I, as a person, couldn't have gone elsewhere to learn about microbiology than at the National Veterinary Research Institute. So while on one hand it provided the facilities and the expertise around me, on the other hand also it's kind of encroached so much of my time because I can't be in my working area and not work. Yet I'm expected to attend lectures. So those are the things we had to juggle around. By and large, it really was an enhancement, to mix advantage and experience. So while you were asking the other colleagues if they were to score on a scale of 8 to 10, how easy it was, and at the higher being anything next to 10. So I would say it's 9.
Wow. Wow.
Well, you can as well make it
Wow.
10.
To become perfect.
Well, so I think you've offered very useful insights. So he who wants
Yes.
more further, more achievement, more skill, you have to be prepared to do the work, right? So you have to be prepared to walk the walk, or else, I'm proud of every one of you with that title. I see Dr. Shehu Shamshudeen change his LinkedIn status, and the caption was there. So it's not everybody that has. Well, first of all, it's not everybody that has DVM. Secondly, it's not everybody that can put the title on it. And so
Yeah.
if you want gold, then you have to be able to at least bend down and dig it out for yourself. So I think that's the resilience you mentioned is a fantastic idea. And Dr. Jalo, I'm almost believing that you were chauffeured to the study center. Right? Because if you had scholarship and then you had government support, I believe government too were providing some vehicles for you to go to your study center. And so, how were you able to enjoy your enjoy your going to your study center? I wouldn't say how were you able to cope with the difficulties, or was it really difficult?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah, because like as rightly said by Dr. Shamsu, our class is a special one. While we are going, we usually gather in the same hotel. We come down to the reception and do a kind of a group discussion. And I have to tell you this. There's one course that we did. I think is it jurisprudence?
Okay.
Yeah, Dr.
Veterinary
Femi, are you with me?
Yeah,
I'm with you. We're here. We can hear you live and clear.
Yeah. What we do mostly when we go to Zaria, we make sure we lodge in the same hotel, all of us. The Shamsu, Jikamshi, about 10, 15. So we do have a kind of group discussion. So that veterinary jurisprudence is one of the toughest course that we had. Then to God be the glory, Dr. Shamsuddin made it very easy and as low as reasonably achievable. He gave us a very nice and fantastic tutorials, just a 2 hour, 3 hour tutorials, and we all got A in the course in the exams.
Oh,
We were
fantastic.
scared. We were all scared about the course. In fact, we invited some from UI that time when we wrote our exams, and when the exam was collapsed at ABU, many from UI, from UNN came down to Zaria. So I met a friend, Dr. Adisa. He was also complaining about veterinary jurisprudence. I said, you come and join me in my hotel. So the Shamsu being the tutor, he make it very easy, and like I said, he make it alara. Alara as low as possible achievable. So when you come back from the exams, he said there's nothing about this jurisprudence. Just these are the learning outcomes. Learn this, know this concept. That's all. When you came back from when you came out from the exam hall, we were all hailing Shamsu, Shamsu. In fact, I have to dedicate some part of the the successes to Shamsu.
Well,
That's why I say fellow College of Veterinary Shamsu Nigeria.
This is
So
interesting.
actually, I don't have any challenge. Like it was very colorful. We really had a very nice time, and it was never a dull moment with people in our class. So with this, we shared experience, and we get it right. So to me, everything is done well.
So I think the key points we want to pick from you is that, especially to those people who are who are still undergoing, there's goodness in collaboration, right?
Yeah, sure, yes,
In
that's right.
school, you write exam alone, but again, this aspect of coming together, doing the tutorials, somebody bringing up his strength to ensure that the
Yes,
class comes up, it's a fantastic idea. And if you're listening, you want
yes,
to be part of the college, I think it's a brilliant time to also start picking these experiences that people are sharing. Dr. Jalo said
And
it was difficult.
Femi, another factor that make this the journey lively is the fact that Dr. Padipe is actually firm and
Honestly,
very friendly. When you have
that's
any
great.
difficulty at any stage, at any phase, when you call him,
Honestly.
when you expect 20, he'll give you 100. Everything is just straightforward, from
Honestly.
registration,
Honestly.
from fixing lectures and whatsoever. So Dr. Padipe, actually, I don't know how to thank him. From day one to last day, he make things very easy, very friendly, and accommodating. So it's also a factor that I will never
Really.
forget that.
I agree.
Mm.
Honestly.
If you've not bought the form and you want to buy it, I think this is the best time, because Dr. Fadipe will not be there forever, right? It's now
Honestly.
time for you to rush to the form. But I'm going to be asking him towards the
Mm.
end of this experience sharing, why he did what he did, and how to make the college experience better from his own experience. But I will leave that to the end of the day. If you're watching and you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, of course, it's a perfect time to do that. We have over 1,300 subscriptions already. We're growing by the day. We're sharing useful
Wow.
content. Sharing useful content. This whole content, you might not get it anywhere else, right? And we find people
Yes.
who are qualified and have the exact experience you want to hear from, to come on this channel to discuss. And then, of course, we don't hoard knowledge. None of us is hoarding. We're giving it out. So click on the subscription button. And if not giving any one of them a thumb up, I think it's a perfect time to do that. Once we have a lot of thumb up, then YouTube can help us promote this video and ensure that more vets watch it. Dr. Shehu Shamshudeen, you're a private vet,
Yes, sir.
right? I know you have multiple centers. I'm not sure if you're married, but again, it not be a good place to put you if you are not. But I think you are, right? You are. So you have your
Yes, I
business.
am.
Okay, all right. So you're off the market. So you have your business, you have your family, you have your ambition, you have your career, and then here comes the fellowship program again. What will you advise people with complex life? They have difficult spouse, or they have challenging career. What will you advise? How will you advise them to go through the program?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think first of all, the most important thing, just like Dr. Dr. Clement said is the goal. Like if you have your eye and the goal, or you have the vision, and the vision is very clear on why. So I think the first thing is to know your why. Why do you want to become a fellow? And once that is very clear to you, then you would be ready to face most of these challenges and overcome them. So, if you have a spouse, you really need to let him or her understand that you'll be undergoing this kind of very rigorous, experience, and of course, let him or her also know what benefits stand I mean would come out of it at the end of the day. Yeah, it means career progression, it means you having better opportunities. It means you reaching, I mean, it means prestige also. I'm sure your wife will be happy when she sees me addressed as a fellow, or your husband will also be proud of you if
Stand, I mean,
you have been
would come out
addressed
of
as
it
a
at the end of
fellow.
the
So
day. Yeah, it means
so
career
that's for family
progression.
side,
It
and then
means
for the
you
business.
having better opportunities. It means
Sorry,
you
I
reaching.
think
You're
I'm
echoing,
echoing.
right?
I'm listening.
Also,
Yeah. So
I'm
what's the
sure
challenge?
your wife will be happy when
It's your
sees me
it's your
as
YouTube
a fellow.
up.
No, none of my
Okay, so go ahead.
devices. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's on the spouse, the family side of it. Or I mean, the other part is of course where a lot of us, especially the private sector guys, would have challenge, especially if you are working for an organization where you are not possibly the CEO or the owner of the organization. You also need to strike a balance between your job, performing your duties, your responsibilities, and of course, you making progress in terms of your career. And I think if there's a honest conversation between you and your management, and that is something that can actually is actually achievable. And if the toughest, of course, is when you are running your business. Yeah, I said it's the toughest because you are the head, you are everything, even though you have structures, you have staff, your absence, either physical or non-physical absence, at some point may affect the productivity if you have not properly planned. So if you are planning to join, for example, and one good thing about the program is, of course, it's just about four months in a year. So it's not like you are running the whole 3 years, back to back. So it offers you the opportunity to actually properly plan the earliest parts of the year, maybe January to July or August. Make sure that you have somebody who can replace you in terms of discharging your duties, and then of course you go ahead and take the training between, I mean, the last 3 or 4 months of the year, and then it won't happen again till next year. So it's very flexible, but at the same time, you also need to properly plan your engagement so that when you are not at work, or you are not in business, or you are not at your place of assignment, your work or the progress or productivity would not be affected. And I also want to use this one to challenge private veterinarians to not to think about the fellowship as something that is just for government workers, or people who work for, I mean, in the academics. Yes, we have more of government and academicians here, but I think a lot of, I mean, a good number of private vets are also coming up. So it's for all of us. Nobody actually owns the fellowship. Is for all of us, and the more we have more private vets coming into it, the better for us, because it will influence, some changes in terms of the approach. It can help improve, the content of the fellowship to what something that's possibly would benefit the guys in the private sector also. So I think that's it's all about you planning, but knowing what you want and then going for it. Of course, there will be prizes to pay. So some of those things are the prizes, the opportunity costs of you wanting to become a fellow. And just like any individual you want to, is it PhD, is it anything you want to do, there will always be some challenges that you need to overcome. That's how I see it. Yeah.
All right. So before I go, we have 2 rounds of questions, and we'll probably need to be really fast. But before I go to the other round of questions, I want to ask you: do you think there's a need to include faculty of, because there are 4 faculties, right? Faculty of entrepreneurship. We need to have it in the school. Maybe
Yeah,
some
yeah,
of
yeah,
us will
yeah.
be.
Yeah, so one interesting about the fellowship and is it's very iterative and very I mean the content or the structure is flexible and is able to accommodate changes and challenges. For example, already for example in public health, there's a course on entrepreneurship,
Nice.
and the course was taken by a very erudite practical entrepreneur, and I kind of like that. I know also in medicine there's a course also in entrepreneurship. So we really
Nice.
do not need to have a faculty of entrepreneurship, but make
Nice.
sure that in all of the specialties there are some elements
Of
of
entrepreneurship.
in introducing basic entrepreneurship. Yeah.
All right. So that's heartwarming. Dr. Clement.
Mhm.
So you've gone through it. You've graduated. Do you have regrets?
No, not at all.
All right. If you are going to change one thing throughout your going through the program, what would that one thing be?
Okay,
Or you will
like
do it again?
now I have a PhD. I'm trying to put the academic and this is both academic and practical, skill acquisition. And so one area I have already started to suggest to the board members, I mean the faculty members, the organizers of the college, is that being a consultant makes you a fellow, and the interpretation of that, I mean, being a fellow makes you a consultant, and the other interpretation of
Yeah.
that is that you are a specialist, you are an
Yeah.
expert. So, as much as possible, we should not keep the course too broad. Broad in the sense that we have to be taking several courses to become a specialist. That would be negating the idea of being a specialist. So as much as
Yeah.
possible, we identify a particular skill gap, and then we want to train specialists in that area. So that when we have many consultants, there will be consultants in this, consultants in that. And then if there are instances where we need to have a pool of consultants to solve a particular problem, we can do that. So in my own faculty and in my own specialization, microbiology, I still think microbiology is rather broad, and that within microbiology, I would love to be a virologist, for instance, and
Okay.
even within being a virologist, there may be some kind of we have all manners of infectious diseases in the place. However, we take it in bits and pieces. So maybe microbiology, for instance, can be broken down into subunits, so that we now have people that are specializing in virology and people that can be referred to as consultant virologists. So, for instance, I probably would have wanted to be that, because what we know about life really, or with specialists really, or people that are highly skilled, is that they may not know that much about too many things, but they know
Yeah.
very deeply about a very small fragment of knowledge. And that is actually what we need, because it is when you dig down that you hit gold. And then we want all our consultants to be not necessarily gold diggers, but skillful specialists that can solve a problem in a field, a very elaborate and detailed way. So if there's anything I want to improve on in the program, it would be that we kind of create specialists in our consultants. Thank you.
All right. So that's I think the interim secretary is here listening, and then he will be able to pass it out properly to the board. Dr. Jalo, any regrets or anything you want to improve in the program?
Yeah, actually, not at all. I don't have any regret. But for the what I want, since the Dr. Padipe is here, for you to have a kind of more entry and more participation, there's need to have a kind of study center based examination against the system that we're operating now. by collapsing the exams in Abuja. To stay in Abuja for a week is quite challenging in many aspects, financially and otherwise. So I think since we have various study centers, if they can able to make the exam to be study center based, then that would have been better and it will have a kind of more participation in the whole country. So in the next few years to come, I think you have many fellows as we supposed to have. So I think that's the only thing that I, as advice, or if I want to suggest.
All right. Dr. Shehu Shamshudeen, of course, no
Yeah,
regrets, right? Or do
yeah,
you?
not at all.
All right.
So there are about 2 or 3 things that I think we can do better, and one of it is the project, the final thesis or the project. It's the final project dissertation. I feel that because we're being trained to become consultants, it should possibly be more solution based than another research. I believe we have a lot of MSc researchers. We have had a lot of trying to get trying to find out about problems, find out at degree level, at master's level, at PhD level. I think a consultant is supposed to be a result oriented person, somebody that is there to just solve the problem. So I'm looking forward to a time where the projects, if you're in preventive medicine, for example, rather than trying to find out the prevalence of XYZ disease and so on and so forth, can you think about maybe developing a tool that can be used to investigate certain disease outbreak, or to track record keeping or vaccination, or develop
In-
strategies,
like
some of this kind of
like
solutions.
intervention.
So fellows, the fellows should come up with solutions rather than trying to ask research questions and investigate over and over many of
Mm,
things that we already have known in the past. I think that's one area.
mm,
And secondly, I think there need to be uh, more hands-on. There's a lot of improvement in terms of the practicals, but I think that we can do better and also make throughout the fellowship years to be more of hands-on field work, and then a little bit, maybe 30% of having some theoretical framework and discussions that can help guide you when you are on the field. And then thirdly, I think that these are the two key things. Others are not too, but these two key points, let it be that is solution based, and then fellows should be able to draw up solutions. For example, if you're in microbiology, you should, as a consultant in microbiology, I should be able to tomorrow, call you to come and help set up a microbiology lab, a private microbiology lab, or an international organization wanting to set up microbiology. So these are the kind of project management approach to the fellowship. I think will help. Thank you.
All right. So I think so do I wanted to ask Dr. Fadipe now. Let me bring you up on the screen. Uh, all right. So you heard the feedbacks. What do you think about those feedbacks? No. Okay. Before those feedbacks, right? Let's take the feedbacks, so that we don't shift discussion of this. Let's cash
Yeah.
on the energy. You've heard they said let project be solution based. Somebody also suggested that we need more, since it's a specialty program, we need more specialization. So what will you think? How do we go forward from here? How do we improve the college?
I think I quite agree with everyone with their suggestions. The college is growing and there are room for improvement. I tell you, as we speak, there are quite a lot of what they have said that has been improved upon in the prospectus, because over the years, a lot of fellows who have graduated have had to giving a feedback. This is one of the things I enjoy with this program. I've had to sit back and listen to feedback from people who have gone through the college. And honestly, it's actually very interesting and very educative for me as a person. So all what they have said are things that, to me, are very germane. And the issue of specialization is something we are working on. If you come to medicine, for instance, when medicine started, everybody in medicine faculty does almost the same thing. But as we speak now, the perspectives have been refined, such that if you come in, you have area of specialization. It's not just general medicine. So the same thing also is applicable to pathology. Take for instance, in clinical pathology, they have had to say, okay, if you want to do clinical chemistry, you want to do hematology and all of that things, those are things that have been improved upon in the current prospectus that is being currently at the press that will soon be rolled out. And I think, this thing they have said is also a way of remolding the college to become better, because area of specialization is very key. And going to what Dr. Shamshudeen said, having our project to be solution-based is also very germane. And that is what obtained in other climes, and it will also help in sponsorship. Take for instance, if Pfizer say, okay, we want a problem, you want to solve a problem in this direction,
Exactly.
they will sponsor it. So
Exactly.
if other organizations to also come in and say yes, so I think having our projects a problem-solving base is actually very germane. And let me also assure you that some of the projects that were done were actually problem-solving too. But I think we want more of it. We want more of it. He, coming from the private sector, is bringing that idea, and I think it's also something that the academia and other sectors should also embrace, to see that their projects are not just for the shelf, but actually problem-solving. So I think everything they have suggested are things that will be imbibed, and there are things that definitely will be suggested to be improved upon in the college. But like I said, some of them have already been captured in our syllabus already. The issue of having it more hands-on is actually been captured in the syllabus. Trying to make sure that we have 60 to 70% practical, and then about 30% theoretical, not 50-50 in any more. If you look at the current prospectus, it has been fashioned towards that we have more practicals than theory. So I think what they have said, most of it have been captured in the prospectus that will be coming on board very soon. And the ones that have not been captured, definitely be captured. Everything they have suggested are very, very, very vital, and will move the college forward. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Fadipe. we're almost out of time. But I'm just going to take one question. If you have any burning question, just leave it on the chat comment button. I will pick it up. But finally, I want to take Dr. Jalo. Let me start with you, because I know you also have a couple of things to catch up with. I've seen your message. One last advice. If you have 30 seconds to advise people watching about the college, what will that advice be?
Okay, I think I just want to highlight them like in 1, 2, or 3, 4 bullets. Now, one, you just have to be demonstrate a depth of experience and expertise. Then you also have a kind of a client first mindset, because our major problem here, we have to be at this point in time, we have to be a kind of analytical problem solvers. Because I work as a veterinary, during this veterinary, what do you call it? Extension worker. So majority of the things that we are having here, especially in Northeast Nigeria, is kind of this veterinary extension services is very poor. So we have to be like an analytical problem solver. You have to have a kind of reliable what and need pertaining, communication mechanism and high expectation, and you have to be professional in all your things that you're doing. So another factor, which is also very important, like as part of rural sociology, you have to be an excellent listener and have a good communication skills. So I think by so doing, after as a fellow, I think if you have these qualities, you don't have any problem to. So everything will just come by default.
Dr. Jalo, I want to thank you for coming up on this platform to offer your useful experiences for us. So let's go to Dr. Clement. Dr. Clement, if you have 30 seconds and you have 1,000 vets listening to you, right, that want to learn from you, what advice will you give regarding the college? 30 seconds. Right. Guess his network is having issues. So let's take Dr. Shehu Shamshudeen. But before we take you, if you're on and you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I want you to click on the subscription button now. If you've not given a thumb up, I want you to do that now. It will be a perfect time to do that. So Dr. Clement is trying to come up again, but let's take Dr. Shehu Shamshudeen.
Okay, yeah. So what I would like to advise upcoming fellows or prospective fellows is to be focused. Like if you get your focus very right, and then it means that you are likely going to succeed. You are likely going to finish on time at the record time, and most importantly, you're going to get all of the benefits that's out of it. Finally, I think you should go there to the college with an very open mind, your
Exactly.
open eyes. There are a lot of opportunities in interacting with the with the people you are going to meet there. So for me, it's been very very wonderful meeting a diversified group of people, building connections, and at the end of the day, the fellowship is not only about the degree; it's actually a fellowship. Fellowship as the name implies. So it's like
Fantastic.
you're building a confraternity, or you call it, and you are building brotherhood that can take you to places that you never imagined. Thank you.
All right, that's brilliant. So, Dr. Clement, you went off, but you're back now. If you have 30 seconds and you have 1,000 vet listening to you, what will you say to them? What advice will you want to give? Dr. Clement.
Yeah, the network is.
Yes, I see that. Okay, so he's off again. Some people are asking questions, right? That I know were tackled. Just look for, go on the YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel, and type College of Veterinary Surgeon. There's an episode Dr. Fadipe took. Somebody's asking for the criteria. I can bring up some questions up. We've covered those criteria. Somebody's asking, what's the criteria for applying? That YouTube 1 hour YouTube channel covers most of these topics. Somebody is asking, what are the study centers available? The reason why these are recorded and why we have them online is because we want you to be able to go back and then get those informations when you need them and how you need them. So, Dr. Clement, what last advice will you have?
Yes, that's the fellowship program is an opportunity for continuous education. I mean, we organize as a council. You organize continuous education from time to time, which are maybe a couple of hours in a year. But this is like an opportunity for a continuous 3 years continuous education,
Fantastic.
which is going to
Oh, his network again. His network
stop
again.
learning that
Okay.
you stop growing. When
Oh, it's up. All right. So I think the final person I would take now is Dr. Fadipe. Dr. Fadipe, are forms out now? Can people come and call you and get a form for the next session? I want you to just say that finally, then we'll call it a wrap.
Yes, forms are still available. After the first master class that we did, I've received so many calls, even up to today. At least about 6 people contacted me today that they
Fantastic.
wanted to pick up form. Just today, about
Fantastic.
6 people
Fantastic.
contacted me that they wanted to pick up the form. So the forms are.
All right, so I think something is also wrong with this network. Dr. Clement is also trying to come on board, but I don't know if his network will be strong enough for this. And we need to really end. We're past time. Dr. Clement, you want to say something finally?
yes, let me say very quickly that the fellowship program is an opportunity for continuous education, and that the time you stop learning is when you start growing old and decreasing in your ability. So my advice for everyone, particularly the veterinarians public practice, but veterinarians even in private practice, all veterinarians, as a matter of fact, is that the fellowship program is an opportunity for you to continue to learn and improve in your skill and even in your ability to perform your professional calling. Not
All right, so that's fine. Thank you so very much, Dr. Clement Meseko. Dr. Fadipe, you said forms are up now. People are picking up form. When is it closing? Is there a specific time that it's closing?
Well, we hope to close it by early next year when the new session will resume. So, but until the new session resumes, we are still selling form. The essence is to keep getting people on board until lecture starts. That's actually the style of our admission. Once lecture starts, we close the chapter for another session. But as it is, we have not started the session, so we are still leaving the door open for people to pick up the forms.
Okay, okay, so that's fine. So for everybody who has been part of this amazing session, the knowledge sharing section, I want to thank all of you most sincerely. If you're watching, I want to say finally, and you've not subscribed, I think it's a good time to hit the subscription button. If you've not given a thumb up and you're still watching, I want you to do a thumb up. To Dr. Shehu Shamshudeen, I want to thank you, you as a private vet, for doing this and sharing your experience. More importantly, encouraging we young vets that the earlier we do this, because one of the key things I came up with at the knowledge at the convocation was that people kept mentioning that the earlier you get involved, the better. You've led the trail, you've blazed the trail also. We saw the comment Dr. Jalo made about you, so heartwarming. We're proud of you. I want to thank you for not withholding any information from us, sharing your insights, and then giving us a head start into getting this done. And then, of course, to Dr. Jalo, thank you for sharing your humorous experience and also letting us know that the government sponsored you. So to all government workers, all government workers still watching, I think it would be a good time also to write a note to your government that if your skills are improved, if you have an improved skills and you know there's a way. I think maybe in another master class we'll bring Dr. Jalo back up to teach us on
Yes.
how to how to write how to write letters how to write letters to government to get their involvement and then their full scholarship.
Not only later, but promising an optimistic concept note to catch the
Okay,
government.
you see, we've had another, we've had another master class. So I think it will be what to try. And I'm also
Yes, yes,
thinking with you, we can have the master class specifically for government workers to also
yes,
tell them how to be an outstanding government worker because.
Yeah.
In all matter of seriousness, Dr. Jalo, you're standing out. I see some of your activities, and then I know the community is proud of you. So we'll be able to also learn from you what's making you stand out. And then, of course, to our erudite Dr. Clement, the MVRI virologist, with the work you're doing in MVRI is commendable. We're proud of it. We
yes,
know how central the MVRI Institute is to the veterinary community. During COVID, you showed yourself. We knew how well you made us proud as veterinarians in the diagnosis of some of these infectious disease. And so we want to thank you for coming on board to to share with us what you know and what your experiences are. I know you mentioned you failed the course, but again, we were glad that you eventually finished finally. And then, of course, what we will say about Dr. Fadipe, it says it all. Dr. Fadipe, I know you are a special cord holding the community, the college together. What we pray is that God will continue to keep you, to be there for us, and then to also offer So I think your support is out of the heart. Some people do it because of the job. You do it because of your person, and that we cannot take from you. And so we want to thank you very much for leading this session, the first information session, and then the experience sharing section. We believe this video will be a valuable tool for anybody who wants to join the College of Veterinary Surgery. I want to also say that we are also proud of our contribution. Now that more people are calling you, we believe the council will make more money from this free advert, and then also sign a check to Farmerland. But we want to most heartily thank you for coming on board and offering your useful insight. To everybody at home, I think it's a wonderful season. It's a wonderful weekend. It's a wonderful weekday, actually. Have a wonderful evening, and my regards to your family members. Goodbye. Thank you, every one of us.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Dr. Jalo. Bye.